Welcome to DW, I'm Phil Gale. We start with breaking news from the Middle East. Israel says missiles have been launched from Iran towards Israel. Air raid sirens sounded across the country. Authorities said citizens have taken cover in bomb shelters. Israeli media reports more than 100 missiles were launched from Iran. At least one official Iranian news agency has also shown images of missiles in the sky. Shani Razanis is DW's Middle East analyst. Welcome, Shani. What are you hearing about what's going on?
Well, first of all, it's still ongoing. Lots of areas in Israel are asked to be under shelter. People are asked to stay close to, safe rooms if they have some, or in community shelters if there are. So far, what we've known, according to the Israeli IDF, is that there have been hundreds of missiles, ballistic missiles, shot from Iran towards Israel, covering quite a wide range of areas in Israel. Most of them so far have been intercepted. We don't know of any direct hits, but this is still an ongoing event. We will have to monitor and see. We know also Israeli officials are saying there will be a very harsh response from the side of Israel. We seem to be in a completely different scenario than the one we were almost 6 months ago on April 14th, when that attack, the first attack, basically breaking the red line of war between Israel and Iran, has taken place.
So these missiles from Iran, not a proxy. This is Iran getting involved directly.
And announcing this has been our making. If Israel will respond, we will retaliate again with more of that. And we see also Iran has learned its lessons from the previous attack in April that I just mentioned, in the sense that last time there were many drones, which take much longer and which also Israel had a lot of time to prepare for. And the most efficient tools they have are the ballistic missiles. They take around 10 to 12 minutes to reach Israel from Iran, much faster. Still long enough time for Israeli air defense. They have different technologies, also airplanes, along with American forces and other, Western coalition partners that try to help Israel. So still enough time to respond, but definitely not the same as the 9 hours that Israelis had last time. And Iran is standing behind this. And Israel, so far, in the name of unnamed officials, say we will respond. It's going to be a harsh response, basically breaking the equation that we have seen in place so far.
Talk to us more about that, because, as you say, this changes the game. Where before we had a certain element of tit for tat. If we do this, we will respond in this way, but we won't take it beyond a certain line. That's now
there were
out
unofficial but very clear lines of conduct of what are the borders drawn. If only, both sides stick to, for example, military bases and not target civilians, if they keep to a certain perimeter and don't go beyond, so forth. The breaking of those rules, if you ask Iranians, they will say it's actually not our fault. This is Israel who chose to do that. If you look at what Israel did in Lebanon in the last 2 weeks, you will see that Israelis have decided to go all kind of wild, all in, and we were forced to respond. Israel, and the way they see it, is like we've had a lot of patience for this to go on for a long time, and we had to break away from this equation because it wasn't working in our benefit. We saw over 60,000 Israelis still, stranded away from their homes. We saw no near end, and we had to take the initiative and be more forceful, more aggressive.
All right, let's talk about the action that Israel says it has taken on the border with Lebanon. It says it's carrying out limited raids, which has been disputed by Hezbollah. What are you hearing?
Well, we know, today the Israeli IDF has presented what they claim to be a plan for ground invasion from Hezbollah to the Israeli side of the border, basically a plan similar to the one we've seen conducted by Hamas in the southern border and from Gaza, infiltrating Israeli local villages along the border, taking hostages, killing people, civilians. Israeli forces say that's been in the making for a long time, and therefore they need to attack that line along the border in order to prevent any Hezbollah operatives and all of their infrastructure. And that was building up there for that scenario of invasion into Israel. They had to operate along the border in order to eradicate any possibility for Hezbollah to ever, fulfill that plan.
Okay, so the world now is looking at this escalating crisis and saying, well, one of the first questions is, what is the Israeli objective if it does go in on the ground in Lebanon. What is it looking to achieve? What does success look like?
Well, first, bringing back the Israeli citizens who were living along the border up until October 7th and have been, forced to leave for so long. So this is one thing. And of course, the push that we've seen Israel do in the last weeks was in order to, they never officially said that like they said with Hamas, but they wish to eradicate Hezbollah as a military force. There's no doubt there's also have a political arm, there's the ideology behind it, but Israel says we will no longer accept that threat lurking on our border and just accept it as we were willing to accept it for many, many years. Same goes with Iran. When you look at the line that is aggressive, Israel now basically operating against Hezbollah, Iran's main proxy, is also in order to send a message to Iran. If you want to make this happen, if you want to talk about fighting, bring it on. Let's fight this fight, and we're going to defeat you. We're very confident in our ability. We're going to, this is Israel sort of changing positions. If you look at it, zooming out, changing position from defense mode that Israel seemed to be in starting October 7th. It took Israel by surprise to trying to get the initiative, take the initiative, and flip the order, saying we are now the aggressors, we take the initiatives, and we're going to set the rules, new rules for this very, very dangerous, so it seems, Middle East.
Okay, for now, Shani Razanis, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Phil.
We'll have more from Shani at the top of the next hour in Ask DW, when you'll get your chance to put your questions to her and a panel of experts. For now, let's go to Tel Aviv, where we can join our correspondent, Tanya. We're going to Jerusalem, where we can join our correspondent, Tanya Kramer. Welcome, Tanya. So we now believe that there are rockets on the way to Israel from Iran. What are you hearing?
Well, we could hear it very clearly, and actually the sirens, this attack is apparently not over. So what happened here in the past hour, the whole building where we are in, everybody is now down in the shelter. There's a shelter in the basement. And I was just also going up and down because, once you're out of the shelter, the sirens go off. I think people here told me that, they've never experienced something like that massively. You could see on the map what's actually the alert system. All Israel was red, basically. The missiles that came, and we hear from the army, they're asking people to still stay next to their shelter or in the shelter, because they are saying that this attack is not over. I do not have an overview right now where the missiles, what were the targets, but we could be hearing a lot of interceptions, a lot of booms. There is certainly impact of shrapnel. Certainly there might be also impact of some missiles. We have to wait and see, because right now what people are doing is basically staying in the shelters, because this is a really, really massive attack with missiles that is coming down here in Israel right now.
And what word from Israel's leaders at this point, Tanya?
Well, we just heard from them in the, just leading up to this attack and all day already. At 2 o'clock local time here, the home front guidelines were suddenly changed, and that included also the center, like Jerusalem, Tel Aviv. But I have to say there are also missile alerts, although there is no system there directly in the occupied West Bank. So this is, this is coming from all over here in the area. And at that point, there was already the anticipation that something is going on. And then we heard Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in a video calling on people to follow these guidelines very strictly, to stay inside, to be close to their shelters. And then just a few minutes again before actually the first alerts went off, also the army again calling on people to stay. So there was some kind of alert to this, and it mainly seems, all over Israel, but also a lot directed here at, the bigger cities. But whether these missiles were directed to specific targets, like military targets, that was said before. So I don't know yet at this point, but at the moment it seems, at least, we don't know yet whether there's another barrage of missiles on its way.
OK, we'll leave it there. We'll let you get to safety, Tanya. Thank you so much for joining us and talking us through that. Tanya Kramer in Jerusalem.